Hey, what's up guys? So in this video I'm going to show you how you can create this beautiful ramen noodle bowl inside Affinity Designer. Now it's going to be super easy. You don't have to be good artist and you don't have to know much about design. After watching this tutorial you will be able to create this design without any kind of problem. Now if you are interested in that, let's get started. Now before I go into creating the design, first we need to have some kind of references so that we know what we are designing. So I just searched Google images for ramen noodles bowl, and here we are looking for what is included inside the bowl. So of course there are noodles, and what other things is it in terms of colors and in terms of material, because we want to replicate it, we want to make it kind of like representing something that is real. So apart from the noodles, one thing we notice is that there are eggs, there are some green vegetables, and there are some other vegetables here as well. I don't know what that is, but anyway. So and also there are chopsticks in the bowl in some of the images, and we are also looking for the kind of view that we'd like to create in our design. So another thing that we notice is that there is also this kind of like a star shape and pink spiral shape is also included in the bowl, and we would also create it. And let's just look for other views, because most of these here at the top images are from the top view, and we are going to create a different view for our design because I want to show the bowl as well. So let's scroll down a bit and let's see what other images are there. So we have this illustration. It is kind of like from a slanted point of view, and this also has these spiral shapes. And let's see some other examples. This one is another example, noodles, some kind of meat here as well. And let's just scroll down a bit. So yeah, this one I think I like a lot as compared to the other illustration. We can definitely search for illustrations as well, but I think I like this one, and I'm going to create something in this kind of style from this point of view of the bowl. So we should have some kind of design on the bowl as well, and we are going to have some kind of material inside the bowl as well. So this is the kind of design that we are going to create, and we might just come back to this page to have some kind of inspiration to look what else we can create in the bowl. Okay, now here inside Affinity Designer I have already created a document the size of Much by Amazon t-shirt, and you don't have to use any kind of graphic tablet for this purpose. You can simply use mouse, but if you have a graphic tablet that would help you a lot during this process, but that's not really necessary. You can simply use a mouse as well. So I'll just start by creating an oval shape to create an interior of the bowl, and like that. And I'm going to just align it at the center here for the moment. Let's just zoom in a bit, and I'm going to create a stroke as well so that we can see the boundaries of our shape. I think I would like a 4-point stroke. That would be fine, and yeah, that's looking fine. And the fill, I am not concerned here much, and because I will be recoloring it later on according to my likeness. But for now, let's just make it kind of like a pale area so that we can see it, and you can see the difference between the white background and the actual shape. So this is looking fine. And now in order to create an outer boundary around it, we are going to create a copy of it by pressing Ctrl J. And what we are going to do is to just scale it up a little bit, the bottom shape, and so that we have kind of like an outer boundary area. So I'll press the shift key and the alt key, actually the shift key and the control key, and then just drag it outwards. And the same thing I'll do with this one. You can release the shift key and only press the control key, so that you are only scaling it in the vertical direction, not in the horizontal direction. So yeah, this is looking pretty fine. And one thing that you would notice is that I have scaled them horizontally and vertically in the equal amount, but we do not want it because we are looking it at a slightly edge. So what I would do is just move it slightly downwards, something like that. And now this is a circular shape, Okay, next what we'll do is to create a bowl shape here towards the bottom. This is the center area or the top area, and then there is going to be a bowl shape at the bottom. So for that we are going to use this pen tool, and in the top, in the snapping option, make sure that you have these snapping option checked, just like me. Okay, now let's just create a bowl shape. As soon as I just bring my mouse cursor here, you can see that the highlight is there, kind of like a yellow highlight. And if I just scroll down a bit, after clicking it creates a shape. And then I'm going to bring my mouse cursor at the center, and as soon as it's at the center, you will see that a vertical green highlight that shows me that now I am at the center. So what I would do is just simply click here and drag it horizontally like that. Now it has created a beautiful half bowl shape, and that's all we need for now, because we are going to copy it on the other side. So I'll just select this one, press Ctrl J at the top, flip it horizontally, and then move it on the other side. Now what I can do is that I can simply join these two, by dragging on using the white arrow tool and dragging it over it. And at the top we have this option called join curves, so I'll just join it. And this one and this one, what I can do is just use the pen tool, click here and then click here again, and it has closed the shape. And I can use this white arrow tool to just pressing the alt key and bring it inside. Yeah, now this is looking fine. I just need to recolor it now, so I'll just color it with something, maybe just the same color. Okay, and then bring it at the bottom. Let's just zoom in a bit. So yeah, this is looking perfect. I think this is at the top a bit, but anyway we can fix it later on. Actually, just fix this area, because you can see there is a slightly outer edge here which we do not want. So I'll just select this one and bring it down, and as soon as it snaps, I'm going to release it. Same thing we are going to do with the other side. Select this one and make it down, and as soon as it snaps in there, we are going to release it. Okay, now that our bowl shape is looking good, what we can do is just create some kind of extra area down here. So in the reference image we have this extra area kind of area here, and we are going to create this shape now. For that purpose, I'm simply going to use the same ellipse tool and simply create a kind of like a ellipse shape here, and then align it horizontally and then move it towards the bottom, and maybe move it up a little bit, something like that, and move it inside like that. I think that looks fine. This is so our bowl is perfect now. Now the only thing that we are left with is to add some kind of noodles in it and other elements, and some kind of designs on the outer area of the bowl. So I can just select all of these and move it up a little bit, so that we have enough position or enough space to work with, just to make it easy. Okay, let's just select all of these, and let's just lock these so we do not accidentally mess with it. So first we are going to create a noodle. Let me show you that images again. So you see that there are noodles, and then other elements like green elements or meat or fish elements are at the top, visible at the top. So in the same way, what we can do, we are going to think it in terms of layers now. At the first we have a layers of soup and noodles, and at the top we have a layer of greens, and then some meat or maybe some kind of red carrots and other elements, some eggs. So all of these other elements are at the top. So if you're thinking about kind of like layers, you will see that at the bottom there should be a layer of the noodles, and then you can create a layer of the greens at the top, and then along with that create a layer of eggs and other elements. So we are going to approach it in this way. So first I'm going to create a layer of the noodles. So I'm using the pen tool, and I'm going to just simply create some random shapes like that, and it doesn't have to be perfect because they are not a perfect shape. Noodles don't have a kind of like a solid shape, specific shape. So I'm going to fill it with kind of like a yellowish color because of the color of the noodles. I think that looks fine. Alright, now I'm going to fill it with some other kind of like a black lines here, so that we can give it a kind of look of a noodle. So I'm just going to use the mouse tool and create some shapes here, joining this one to the other end like that. And in the same way, what I'm going to do is just create some kind of zigzag style things, just random stuff, and just to make it look like kind of like a strands of noodle. I don't know, it's called the strands or something else, but anyway, I think you will get the idea. So I'm just going to quickly do it in the time lapse, and you will see what I have done. Okay, now that our noodles are ready, we can just simply select all of these and group them together, just to simplify our design and make it easy for us to work on other things. Okay, now that is ready, we can just simply move it to another location, something like that, so that it covers the maximum area inside our bowl. Another thing that we can do here is to add some kind of green elements, and I'm just going to simply create some kind of random shapes here. It doesn't have to be perfect, and we are going to fill it with green color, and that's why I've said that you don't have to use a graphics tablet. You can simply use a mouse as well, because these are just some random lines. They are not some specific artistic kind of like elements or artistic kind of design thing. So I just simply created some random elements. Let's just fill them with some kind of green color here. I think that looks fine, and we can again recolor it afterwards as well. We don't have to just worry about it at this point. We can overlap some of these so that we can have kind of like a 3D kind of like thing, that they are overlapping, they are inside the ball, they are not separate elements, they are mixed together. And we can simply copy some of these and move them at a different location, rotate them a bit like that, and maybe something like that as well, and maybe copy a few more of these and then move it on some other location like that as well. So this is just some kind of the way that you would like it, doesn't have to be specific. Let's just select all of these and group them together as well. Okay, next what we can do is to create some kind of like a meat element, and it has to be kind of like a perfect shapes. It doesn't need to be, but I like to have some kind of perfect lined edges, like perfect cut pieces, so like that. And let's just lock this one. Okay, now what we can do is that color them in some way, kind of like a dark area thing, like dark brown thing like that, to represent kind of like color of the meat maybe. Let's just group them together and place it here at the outward area, something like that here. Alright, next what we can do is to create some eggs here, and that's just an oval shape. We can use that oval shape, but I don't want it to be a perfect oval, so I'm just going to use this mouse, and let's just fill it with white color. Yeah, that's perfect white. And at the bottom of this we can create a kind of like a 3D look, so we can have something like that, and like that, and just bring it inside and then move it down and fill it with the white, but instead of pure white we can just simply use kind of like a grayish area, so that we have kind of like a 3D style thing. Next, what we can do is to create a centerpiece here and fill it with the yellowish color. Now you can use the same yellowish from the noodles, so I'll just select this one and I'm going to use the same yellowish from the noodles color. So one piece of our egg is ready, and let's just group them together, and let's just press Ctrl J to copy it and move it on the other side and reflect it horizontally to create other piece of the egg here. Let's just maybe make it slightly bigger, something like that. This looks fine, and we have to make this one bigger as well. I think that looks fine. Okay, now these things are ready, and next we can add some more elements that what I've shown you, that Narutomaki, this kind of shape. So we have a swirl pink shape here inside, and outside we have a whitish area, kind of like a zigzag thing. Now in order to create that, we can either use the pen tool or we can use the pre-made shapes if those are helpful. So let's just use kind of like maybe the star shape, and let's see if we can create it with the help of this one. So we have curved edges as well checked, so let's just increase the points, something like that, increase the radius, and yeah, that is looking fine. And let's use these curves to make it like that, and left curve should also be increased, so it is looking like that. I think we might need to increase the points. I think that looks fine, and maybe increase the radius a bit more, like that. And yeah, this is looking pretty fine. We can adjust it a little bit to make it like an oval shape, something like that. And yeah, I think this is looking pretty fine. We don't have to mess much with it. Let's just go back to the reference and see how it looks. So yeah, it looks kind of like some are in the circular shapes and some are in this oval shape. So we can make kind of like a circular but not perfect circular, and like that. Maybe decrease the points here. I think that looks fine. Yeah, this is looking pretty fine. Now let's just color it white, and let's just scale it down a little bit, like that. And next we are going to create a simple spiral shape with the help of our pen tool. So I'll just create some random spiral shape like that, and it doesn't have to be perfect because this is an organic material. And in the shape it does not have any black edges, so we are going to remove those black edges. Just position it at this location, fill it with some kind of like a pinkish purple colors like that. I think that looks fine, and let's just remove the stroke. I think this will look fine. So yeah, this is some random shape. We can then again create copies of it and create other version of it, but I think for now this looks fine. Let's just group them together and place it inside our bowl. Here at this location will look fine, I think. And let's place it behind our eggs like that. Create another copy of this, maybe place it in this area and behind this green things. Yeah, this looking pretty fine. So you can see most of our noodles are ready. Let's just group them all together, all of these elements that we are created, and let's just group them together. And now it's time to place it inside our bowl. So what we do is that we have this shape that is in the inside area. We are going to create a copy of it by pressing Ctrl J and make these noodles and other elements just kind of like a child of it. And as soon as it's done, you can see that everything is inside the bowl. Now it's time to create some kind of like chopsticks. So again, I'm going to use this pen tool, just create some random stuff like that, and maybe like that, and another point like that, and then close it like that. And we can adjust it somewhat, something like that. And let's just have some kind of stroke color hit and fill it with let's just fill it with white color, and maybe we can then recolor it later on. So these are simple chopsticks. We can add some kind of design elements to it, you know, like these have something to it, and we can just simply leave it blank. In fact, let's just make it kind of like a wood color, like, you know, pale brownish thing like that. Our bowl is also in the same way color, but we are going to fix it, so that looks fine. Let's just kind of like create a, you know, red area here like that, and create a copy of this one. Select the top curve, this one, and the copy, and then simply press intersect. Let's just fill it with the red color. I think that looks fine, and we can just simply fix this one as well. Okay, now this is looking fine. Let's just create a group of this one, create a copy of this one, and then move it down and something like that, and let's select both of these, and then we are going to rotate them up and place it inside the noodle bowl. So one thing that we can do here is that we can hide it in the way that it does not, edges do not appear here. So one thing we can do is that we can hide it behind this egg. So in order to do that, we have to bring this egg at the top. So I'm going to select this egg in the layers panel and bring it at the top of the chopsticks, and maybe adjust its size and rotate it a bit like that, so that it hides there. So our noodles are perfectly hiding, actually not the noodle, our chopsticks are perfectly hiding here in the bowl. So that looks pretty fine. Okay, next what we can do is to work on the bowl area. So first of all, let's just color it. We can either use the red color, or maybe let's just use kind of like a white color, not pure white, but somewhat like a grayish yellowish thing, something like that. I think that looks fine. And one thing that you might notice is that center edge color is not changing, because we have our noodles, all of these elements inside that. So we just need to select this top ellipse and make sure that we remove any kind of color in it, so that the color of the bowl appears behind it. Okay, now this is ready, and one thing we can do here is to create kind of like element here, design elements, decorative elements on the bowl as well. So for that we can either use this pen tool and try to create a curve shape, but that would kind of like a mess, create a mess here, and it might not be perfect looking. Another thing we can do here is to use this outer shape area that we have created. Let's just unlock it, you know, these shapes. So this outer area, if we can just copy it and move it down a bit, we can create a perfect aligned curved shape here. So let's just copy it and just, you know, lock these one, because we do not want to accidentally mess it. So I can just move it down a bit somewhere like that, and it has created a perfect circular actually curved shape here. But here one thing that you would notice is the top area of the bowl is wider, but as it moves towards the bottom, it kind of gets less wider, it becomes narrower. So we need to account that in our curve shape as well. So we want to make it like more curved area here like that. So in order to make it perfect and in order to be able to fill it, what I would do is that first we are going to convert it into curves and then remove the top part. So I'm going to select this top area, and I'm going to at the top use this option called break curve. Let's just lock these because we do not want to accidentally mess with it. Okay, now it has been broken in the different shapes. Let's just use this one and press delete, and let's just use the other side and press delete. Let's just remove any kind of fill color. And one thing we can do here is to create another copy of this one and move it down a bit like that. You know, I can again then select this one and select this one and move it a little bit up so that it's almost at the center. Now this kind of decoration either you can create here at the top edge of the bowl and top and the bottom. It just totally depends upon you how you would like to see it. I'm going to, you know, make it even curvature smaller here like that, and that looks fine. Now we are going to join these two curves by selecting these two, and at the top I'm going to choose this option called join curves, and it is creating some kind of mess because but we can fix it like that. And then again on this side we can use the pen tool to simply close the curve, and now we can fill it with some kind of color. Let's just fill it with red color like that. And now you can see that it is appearing outside our bowl, which we do not want. So easy fix is that just make it a child of the bottom shape and you are good to go. Now we can create some kind of like golden style decorative elements here, and in order to do that I'm going to use the same curve that I have just created. So I'm going to create a copy of this one and make it slightly like that and bring it down, and maybe something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to create a hand drawn elements here. Okay, this looks fine. Maybe make this one on the outer edge here, and this one should also be here at the outer edge. This is going to serve as a guide for me to create other hand drawn elements. Now I'm just fixing the curvature because I don't want my hand drawn elements to look ugly or kind of like an imperfect thing. Yeah, this is looking pretty fine, and I think that looks fine. We can adjust the hand drawn elements later on. So let's just select this one and maybe lock it because we do not want to accidentally mess with it. And let's just start creating those kind of like S shape elements here. So what I would do is that simply create something like that here at the top and move it like that here, bring it down something like that, and at the top select this one and kind of like make it according to this as outer edge here, and bring it down and something like that, bring it here, bring it at the top like that. And if we do not like it, we can just simply remove it. This is just to show you that you can create different design elements here. And as it is hand drawn, so errors are possible and it might not look as good. We can add some geometric elements as well if you would think that would look fine. I think this is looking pretty fine. Let's just make it kind of like a golden color instead of black, so like that, and maybe increase our stroke. I think this looks fine, and it might look weird but anyway, we are just not creating something perfect. So yeah, we have created one of the shapes. We can simply create a copy of this one and move it on here on the other side like that, and try to make it according to the curve shape that we have just created. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it aligns somewhat close to it, that would be nice. So let's just create another copy of this one and move it up here. I don't know if the real things look like that or not, but anyway, let's just make it like that. Now these things are ready. Let's just select all of these two and create a copy of these and move it on the other side. Let's just reflect it and paste it here. Try to adjust it according to the curve that we have created, the guides. I think that looks fine. You can adjust this one here. So yeah, this is looking pretty fine. I might add other elements here as well depending upon how it looks. Let's just select all of these shapes, group them together, and let's just hide the guides and bring it inside our bowl shape. So this is looking okay for me. I think I can add few more elements, maybe circle or square, something like that. Actually, I might need to fix these areas because they are not in the same direction as the other one. So let me just go inside our design elements and let me just fix this one flip it horizontally like that, and then make it appear in this way. And let's just bring back our guides. So our guides are here. Now I'm going to fix this one and bring it on the outside, and this one I'm going to bring it inside here. So I knew there is something that is not looking good, something is weird. So this was the issue actually. Anyway guys, you got the idea how you can make decorative elements. It is kind of like a difficult thing, and because these are kind of like a geometric style design elements, and it's difficult to make it in the form of a curve if we do not use the perfect geometric shapes. So yeah, that's why it's taking some time. Okay, now this is looking fine and I might leave it as it. Okay, now our bowl and noodles things are ready. Let's see how it looks on the black color. So yeah, you can see that it's looking pretty good. And one thing we can do is that let's maybe make the color of the bowl to be red as well, because white might not look good. And let's just make the bowl red. I think I like the white one, so let's just undo a couple of times and go back to the original shape. Now yeah guys, this is looking pretty good, and you can again recolor it, work on it a little bit more to adjust it according to the likeness. Another thing that you can do here is to make the noodles slightly coming out of it. Just make the shapes or like the noodles here in the yellowish and in the yellow tones, and make it like outside like that, or maybe coming out from this side as well. And maybe just make the chopsticks in the air and then noodles coming down here. So this kind of variations that you can easily create in your design. So guys, hopefully you have found this video to be helpful and useful in learning the process of creating these kind of designs. And if it is helpful for you, make sure that you like the video, and if you want to encourage me to create more content like this, you can subscribe to this channel. It will help me to create more content, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.